Could you tell us a little bit about the history of the Barth estate?
The Barth Wine and Sparkling Wine Estate is a fairly young winery. The estate has existed at this location for about 50 years. In 1948, after the Second World War, my father left his parents' home. He built a small single-family home here in Hottenheim. His idea pretty much was to start a farm. So, they built a barn, they built a chicken stable, they built a pig stable, and long term, he was really trying to figure out how to work his way out of the problems of the war. Really what he was looking to do was just start a new life for himself. So he moved to Hottenheim, and the idea was to get into mixed agriculture. They grew potatoes and grain, raised chickens and pigs, and the grander scheme was the recultivation of the vineyards. Between 1954 and 1956, my father harvested the first vintages here and then founded the Barth Winery. My father was really focused on trying to grow the business. And as he expanded, bit by bit, the focus really became on fermenting and bottling the wines. Soon, he realized that he was starting to have a lot of success. From the 1960s to the 1980s, he was successful in marketing the wines in Germany, although mostly just in the greater Rhine-Main region, 20 to 50 kilometers around Frankfurt and Wiesbaden.
Okay. So basically all locally and regionally?
Yeah, basically locally. I then expanded on what he did, started distributing across Germany, and also opened the business to export.
And what, in your opinion, is the specialty of the estate?
The specialty in the Rheingau is first and foremost Riesling. In the Barth estate, Riesling is the main grape varietal with about 80% of the total production. Our specialty is the in-house sparkling wine production, which we've done for the last 11 years in our own cellars. The production of the sparkling wine all happens in-house, from the second fermentation according to the traditional champagne method and the aging of the sparkling wine on the yeast to hand riddling and disgorging. An ice wine is created through grapes frozen naturally on the vine. Under the skin, the water freezes to ice. In the middle of the berry, a thick fluid of sugar extract remains, which does not freeze. The berries are then harvested at negative 8 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 18 degrees Fahrenheit. They are then pressed immediately, also at 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and a concentrate of sugar and acidity runs off the press. A thick fluid that is honey-like and highly concentrated is what is left behind. The aroma of an iced wine has concentrated fruit, concentrated acidity, and concentrated extracted juices. It is a great enjoyment, the ideal wine to store for a very long time. It is a wine that you can pass down through the generations.
So what, in your opinion, differentiates German Riesling from Riesling in other parts of the world?
Riesling is the finest white wine grape in the world. Riesling has so many nuances, finesse, and character that it never gets boring, and it always shows different characteristics in every vintage. Depending upon where Riesling grows, it shows the characteristic of the soil. The minerality of the soil is in the flavor profile of the wine. You can smell and taste the terroir better than with any other grape variety.
What are the characteristics of the soil and the terroir of the Barth estate?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Here, in the middle Rheingau, the main vineyards consist of tertiary Los and Mal. The ones located at higher elevations between 200 and 280 meters contain quartzite and slate because of the town's mountains, which contain mostly quartzite. The wines that come from loess, clay, and marl, which are strong and heavy soils, have a lot of substance and character. They need time to turn into wine, to ripen and show the aroma. But they also have a long lifespan and great future. 2007 is an outstanding vintage altogether, one of the best in the last 70 years. It is characterized by healthy grapes, full fruit, brazen acidity, minerality, and a lot of elegance.
And the Riesling wines are then bottled around March approximately?
The Riesling grapes are harvested around October, depending upon the vintage and the ripeness level. This usually occurs between October 8th to November 10th or 15th. The grapes are squeezed softly and macerated. They are then carefully pressed at less than 2 bars of atmospheric pressure. The juice then comes down in the cellar and runs briefly over a filter. This way the juice is free of sediments, pulp, and other particles. It goes clear into fermentation in these stainless steel tanks here. The wine then ferments with natural yeast. Depending on the quality level of the wine, and depending on the size of the tank, it takes from 6 weeks to 3 months for the juice to ferment. It's not really a clear wine yet, as it's still on the yeast, and it'll remain resting on the lees for another 6 to 8 weeks. It'll then go through its final filtration, and the wine will be bottled sometime in March or April.
And what is your philosophy as a winemaker?
My philosophy is to maintain both the best of grape quality and the best of the vineyard. I believe that wine can really only grow in the vineyard. The quality comes from nature, the soil, the vineyard, the maintenance, and of course the sunshine. The skill? Well, that's to fully maintain the harvested quality in the cellar, and not to take away from it in any shape or form during the fermentation process, from grape and juice to wine. You know, it's just like a chef who cooks vitamin-rich vegetables for too long and destroys the vitamins. Or that same chef can turn a tender fillet into a dry, tough steak if he doesn't understand his trade. The skill is to maintain what nature brings, if possible, 100%.